tinker here a bit.
There are some things you cling to as time marches on.
So no rust, no rust.
These mementos take you back. For Bob Seek, it's this car.
I was commuting back and forth to the Cape, just a journeyman engineer starting out.
He bought it in the 1960s, and that's where he goes when he's behind the wheel now.
People have said, Bob, if you ever been cut, you know you'd bleed NASA blood. It's part of a noble venture.
Okay, Apollo 8, we have a good picture.
That noble venture was a national quest.
What does the old moon look like from 60 miles, over?
Launching the first man to the moon from Kennedy Space Center.
The countdown reached ignition precisely on schedule.
A place Seek says in the 50s was vastly different.
Most of everything looked like the nature's land here. All this construction equipment and trucks bringing stuff here. So the traffic jams at the few entrances to this place, turning all of this Florida wonderland into operational launch complexes.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do...
After all, President John F. Kennedy's famed speech fueled a frenzy of work in the procurement of 144,000 acres of land, some taken through eminent domain.
I actually knew a friend who actually was born just about a quarter mile down the road here, and when she was 3 years old, they said, eminent domain, we're picking up your house and moved it over to MIMS.
Longtime mechanical systems engineering manager and historian in his own right, Peter Chitko, grew up in Jacksonville, fascinated by what was happening on Merritt Island.
95 was not developed through Brevard County, and you'd look on the old maps and there'd just be dashed lines.
He says KSC's main structures, the vehicle assembly building, crawlerway, and firing rooms, were built in tandem. The rest set aside for wildlife refuge.
As you look around, we only use about 20% of the land available here. It's one of the best examples of how high tech and nature can peacefully and very successfully coexist together.
As NASA transitioned to the shuttle program in the late 70s,
And the shuttle has cleared the tower.
the agency realized they could repurpose facilities used in Apollo. Firing rooms outfitted with new technology, changes to assembly bays at the VAB, orbiter processing facilities had to be built.
Runway in sight.
And this.
The shuttle runway, the shuttle landing facility. We needed a 3-mile-long runway for the shuttle to land in that.
Now a drive around KSC's perimeter paints the picture of progress. Companies commercializing low Earth orbit.
OneWeb building satellites here on site. Blue Origin out in Exploration Park building rockets now.
Tom Engler's job is planning and development,
And liftoff of SES Empower.
bolstering partnerships with companies like SpaceX.
Go Starlink, go Falcon.
Liftoff after liftoff. It's these very companies that aren't just carving out their own space at the Space Center.
As you start looking closer, you start seeing a lot of the improvements that the commercial companies have made.
For example, Launchpad 39A.
We outgranted that to SpaceX in 2014. You can see from here even the changes they've made to the pad with the black cladding.
Elsewhere, bridges like this one that withstood 60 years of commuters to and from the center needed a head-to-toe facelift.
And had that bridge gone down, it would have seriously impacted the ability of the companies to be able to do business here.
Here, where 3,000 usable acres remain. And as far as what this will look like in 5-10 years down the road, no one is certain.
Will this just get bigger and bigger, the footprint?
Possibly, yes. And it depends upon how many other commercial entities want to come here.
What is certain is this refuge is to remain intact. Signs of old Florida, still a part of the Space Center's future.
Test team rosters from back in the day.
Whatever develops.
And this is what we see on this big recorder. That's me.
Seek sleeps well, knowing that the 4 decades he spent at NASA, including years as a launch director, meant something.
And what we did was good.
And as he files away one incredible chapter.
Notice the concerned look, because nobody knows what's going to happen next. Okay, let's go.
Another begins.
Let's do a little practice.
Good.
At 85, Seek's trying his hand at ballroom dancing. His new bride, Linda, by his side. In Brevard County, Julie Gargotta,
You up to twirls?
Spectrum News.